Emily and Sophie had grown up in a small middle-class home in England. They lost their parents when they were still young, and from that day, Emily became more than just Sophie's sister. She became a protector. She cooked for her. She looked after her. Whenever Sophie was upset, Emily was there. But the two sisters couldn't have been more different. Emily was gentle, caring, and beautiful. She never cared much about money. Sophie was different. She wanted money. She wanted designer clothes, expensive restaurants, luxury houses, and a life where she never had to worry about bills. One afternoon, Emily was walking through town when she passed a small woodcutting shop. The man working there always noticed her. His name was Daniel. He wasn't rich. He didn't drive an expensive car or wear expensive clothes. But Daniel worked harder than anyone Emily knew. For months, he had secretly admired her. Then one day, he finally found the courage to speak. "Emily, I know I don't have much, but I love you. Would you marry me?" Emily stood there speechless. But before she could answer, Sophie burst out laughing. "You?" She looked Daniel up and down. "My sister is going to marry a woodcutter." Daniel's face dropped. Sophie continued. "She deserves someone rich. Someone who can give her a proper life." Emily immediately stopped her. "Sophie, that's enough." She looked at Daniel. "I need a few days to think." Daniel nodded quietly. "I understand." He walked away. Sophie turned toward her sister. "Emily, are you seriously considering him? You could do so much better." But Emily had noticed something Sophie hadn't. Daniel's hands were rough from years of work. His clothes were simple, but his eyes were honest. A few days later, Emily gave him her answer. Yes, and she married him. For Emily, it turned out to be the best decision of her life. Daniel loved her deeply. He worked from sunrise until evening and always came home asking one question. "Did you eat?" He couldn't give Emily expensive gifts, but he gave her something far more valuable. Love, respect, and a home where she felt safe. Sophie, meanwhile, was determined to find the rich life she had always dreamed about. Eventually, she met a wealthy man from London. He took her shopping. He bought her designer clothes. He took her to expensive restaurants. His house was enormous. For Sophie, it felt like she had finally escaped the life she hated. She moved in with him and began spending money as if it would never run out. She thought she had one, until one evening, she returned home with several shopping bags. She opened the bedroom door and froze. Her boyfriend was with another woman. Sophie couldn't believe her eyes. "What are you doing?" The man barely looked at her. "It's over." "What?" He laughed. "Did you really think I wanted a relationship with you?" Sophie started crying. "I loved you. I never promised you forever," he replied coldly. "I wanted what I wanted. Now I'm done." He pointed toward the door. "Leave." That night, Sophie walked out with nothing. For 2 days, she slept wherever she could. Cold, hungry, embarrassed. Eventually, she returned to the only person she knew would still open the door. Emily. Emily didn't ask questions. She simply hugged her. "You're home now." But Sophie didn't feel grateful. She felt jealous. Because while she had lost everything chasing money, Emily had everything Sophie had always wanted without ever asking for it. Daniel was becoming successful. His furniture business had started attracting wealthy customers from the city. His work became known for its quality. Soon, he was earning more money than he had ever imagined. He bought Emily a beautiful house. He surprised her with flowers. He took care of her. And every time Sophie watched them together, something inside her grew darker. She wanted Emily's life. So she decided to take it. First, she planted small doubts. "Emily, Daniel comes home so late. Don't you ever wonder where he is?" Then she spoke to Daniel. "You work so hard for her, but does she really appreciate you? She doesn't even understand how much you sacrifice." At first, Daniel ignored her. But Sophie didn't stop. She became sweeter toward him. She brought him food, asked about his day, complimented his work. And whenever Emily wasn't around, Sophie would quietly complain about her. Slowly, Daniel began believing her. The man who had once trusted Emily completely started questioning her. Then came the secret meetings. Daniel knew it was wrong, but Sophie made him believe Emily didn't appreciate him anymore. One night, Sophie stood outside the house holding Daniel's hand. "Divorce her," she whispered. "Then we can finally be together." But neither of them noticed Emily standing behind them. She had heard every word. Her eyes filled with tears. She looked at her sister. "Sophie." Sophie turned around. Emily's voice trembled. "You did this. You were the little girl I protected after Mom and Dad died. I treated you like my own child. And this is how you repay me?" Then she looked at Daniel. "And you?" She could barely speak. "I trusted you more than I trusted myself." Daniel's face went pale. "Emily, please." She shook her head. "No." She picked up her bag. "You both deserve each other." And she walked away. Sophie watched her leave without a single tear. She believed she had finally won. A few days later, she married Daniel. And then reality began. Sophie didn't want to work. She didn't want to build a life with him. She wanted a lifestyle. She spent his money, bought expensive clothes, ordered expensive food, and complained whenever he refused to give her more. The house that once felt peaceful became filled with arguments. One night, Daniel finally broke down. He looked around the beautiful house and whispered, "What have I done?" He remembered Emily, the woman who had loved him when he was just a struggling woodcutter, the woman who had never cared about his money. Eventually, Daniel divorced Sophie. He told her to leave, and suddenly, Sophie was alone again. No luxury, no expensive house, no wealthy man, nothing. She ended up sleeping on the streets. The same streets she had once walked after being thrown out by the rich man. But this time, Emily wasn't there to save her. Daniel spent months searching for Emily. Eventually, he found her working at an elderly care home. She was caring for old people, feeding them, talking to them, and making them smile. Daniel walked toward her with tears running down his face. "Emily," she turned around. He fell apart. "I'm sorry. I was stupid. I destroyed the only person who ever truly loved me." Emily's eyes filled with tears. "I forgive you." Daniel looked hopeful. "Then come home with me." Emily slowly shook her head. "No." His face fell. "I loved you when you had nothing, Daniel. I trusted you with everything, and you betrayed me with my own sister." She took a breath. "I've spent too long healing myself to go back to the person who broke me." Daniel cried. "I'll never do it again." "I believe you," Emily said softly. "But forgiveness doesn't mean I have to return." She turned away. "I hope you find peace." As she walked back inside, Daniel stood alone and finally understood what he had lost. Daniel learned the hardest lesson of his life. You can regret hurting someone. You can even be forgiven. But sometimes, the person you broke has already learned how to live without you. If this story touched your heart, make sure to comment a heart and subscribe our channel for more amazing stories.